The first day I joined network marketing, I wish somebody would have sat me down and started to drill some of these concepts into my head. Because the understanding of this is the ability to unlock your future. Okay? And there's kind of 5 levels of success. If I were just to describe it to you, 5 levels in network marketing. Level number 1, 0 to 25,000. And the characteristic of that is follow instructions. Do as you're told. You know, do what your company teaches you to do what your leader teaches you to do. Just follow instructions. Follow instructions, everything's going to work out. Follow instructions, just kind of be a good soldier, and everything's going to be fine. That's level number 1. Level number 2 is 25 to 100,000 a year. And this is just hard work. Put your head down, work your butt off, hard work. Now listen, this is the crazy part of network marketing is, what do we talk about? Throw into the chat, what do we tell people that network marketing is going to provide for you? What do we tell them? What is network marketing going to provide for you? Put it into the chat. What's it going to provide for you? You join this business, it's going to provide peace, okay? Freedom, time freedom, financial and time freedom. Freedom, 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 leverage, income, community, the ability to design your life, legacy, connections, friendship. What do you see as a theme? Freedom, time freedom, lots of money. Well, here's the big fake out in network marketing. From 0 to 100,000, you have the opposite of freedom. You don't have freedom. You don't have time freedom. Are you kidding me? You're working 10 times harder than anybody else works that you know. You're putting in more time, doing all this stuff. Your life is swung way out of balance. You don't have time to think. How many know what I'm talking about? 0 to 100,000. You know what I'm talking about? This is for real, right? So you're like, wait a minute, maybe network marketing doesn't work. Maybe something's wrong with me. Anybody ever thought that something was wrong with them? Anybody? Anybody still kind of wondering? I don't know. Narita's saying, I don't know, maybe. But look, here's the thing. There is the ability to get freedom, time freedom, money freedom, choices, options, but you don't get to have it in stage 1 and 2. That comes after stage 1 and 2. So all of you need to understand this. If you're wondering there's something wrong with you, or if you're wondering what in the heck, I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm working harder. You're stretching your family to the limits. You're stretching yourself to the limits. I promise you all of that stuff is worth it, but you have to know that phase 1 and 2 is just grit, toughness. You got to be tough. You got to be like an animal to get through 1 and 2. Like 1's not so bad. You just follow instructions, make a few bucks. But then typically once you get to a couple thousand, hey, I'm going for this. Boom. You go full time or something. And or one spouse quits their job and off you go. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I thought I was going to have duplication. My first 3.5 years in network marketing, I did every single thing for my team. I did all the presentations. I did all the follow-up. I did all the 3-way calls. I did all the trainings. I did all the getting started conversations. I woke people up in the morning. I put them to bed at night. I made sure everybody attended the events. I made sure everybody was on the Zoom call. I made sure. And I was exhausted for 3 years trying to figure out. And during this period of time, I had almost zero duplication for 3.5 years. I was the only constant. I was the only one, it felt like, that was working. And I had a bunch of dead fish in my organization looking at me. And then they were blaming me for their problems too. It wasn't just that they weren't working, they were blaming me too. So people would quit, people would go, come, people would quit, people would come, and no duplication. I knew my team too well. Any of you know your teams too well? Stacy, you know your team too well? Jeff, you know your team too well? It's too much, right? It's like, I used to go to the events and I used to see people go up on stage and say, oh, I just met a brand new person who's 48 levels below me at the convention. And they got to the top rank, and I just I got to meet them and I got to congratulate them. I was like, screw you. 48 levels? I mean, I can get maybe to 3, but I can't get to 48. How does that happen? Where do they find these magical people that just work with or without them? Because I wasn't able to find any. Right? So level 3 is 100 to about 250. And that is all about duplication. Duplication, here's my promise for you. If you'll go through the grit, of levels 1 and 2, duplication will show up. Duplication will show up. And finally, I cracked the code, and I finally had some duplication. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is what they were talking about all that time. And I finally started to have people successful with or without me. I was still the leader. I was still driving the culture of the organization, but people were working when I was sleeping. For the first time, oh my God, it was amazing. So I learned some duplication concepts. We're going to talk about duplication concepts. Number 4 is 250 to 1 million. This level is all about promotion. Now, do you work hard at all levels? Yes. Do you try to provide duplication opportunities in all levels? Yes. Should you be a great promoter at all levels? Yes. But I will tell you what really separates people once they get to the 250 or so is they become just world-class promoters. World-class. And 5, 1 million plus, it's all about leadership, leader development. How many leaders can you develop inside your organization? Okay? Leader development. Now, of course, we start leader development as early as we can do it. How do you identify a potential leader? How do you mentor them into higher levels of success? How do you stay in communication with them? Because it's critically important that leaders stay together. And then how do you duplicate that process? Leaders are the most valuable thing in network marketing. Leaders are the most valuable thing.